So look, I first come across Timmy on with his videos on YouTube, and I watched this young kid evolve. You know, he's out there on a pipe raft. Like on a pipe raft, a wooden plank with sewage tube, and he's out there doing his thing, catching fish. You know what he loves to do, which is catch fish. We're about to turn his dream into reality. Timmy's not going to be on a pipe raft no more. Timmy's going to be in a true blue Aussie plate boat, hand cut, hand built by me, #1 plate boat builder in the country. Stick it up all them other plate boat builders.
So I'm about to introduce you to George, owner and everything of Samurai Plate Boat, NQ Mono Hulls. We got Darren in the shop. Darren's his main offsider, and we got Kevy. What was it? Pro finisher.
Kevy's a pro metal finisher, mate.
Pro metal finisher. So Kevy does all the sanding and finishing, the acid washing on the boat. Darren does anything George tells him.
I do everything.
He's ADHD. Darren, you're going to see him throughout the next couple of months. He's absolutely awesome. And we got George, the main man. So I met George a couple of months ago coming through town. Straight away said, Timmy, I'm going to build you a boat. I've been watching you for years. And I didn't believe him at first, but the more I hung out with him, the more I realised he was so keen on this project. And he'd already rung up, what, 2 years ago? A year ago?
Yeah, mate, yeah. I put the feelers out 2 years ago.
Put the feelers out 2 years ago, and he said to his aluminium supplier of 12 years, he said, Ullrich Aluminium, he said, look, I want to build this kid a boat. Not a kid, old homeless man. I want to build this old homeless man a boat. And they said, yeah, no worries, we're on board. So massive thank you, I can't thank him enough. Ullrich Aluminium have supplied all the aluminium for this build. And George has supplied all his time and knowledge, and he said, yep, Timmy, go ahead, film the whole process. So what we're going to do is we're going to film this whole build for you, and we're going to walk you through. So he's not one of those people that gets his boats machine cut. Everything is stencils. His stencils are 18 years old on the floor right there. We're going to walk you through how he does all that and that sort of thing. But everything George does is handmade, hand cut and welded together. It's all something that people can do. He's been doing it for what, 20 something years?
100%, mate.
20 years.
Old school boat building.
And so yeah, this film's going to be how to build an old school aluminium boat build from scratch all the way through to finished product. So massive thanks to Ullrich Aluminium for jumping on board straight away. Big thanks to George for reaching out and catching me as I was passing through town. This wouldn't be happening without those two people, and hopefully along the way we get a few more people on board, but so far it's just the two of them and me. I'm going to supply as much help as I can. I'm excited to learn some new skills on this build. The last build for me, I did the wooden boat, and I came, when I moved up north, still living in my car, but when I moved up north, I had to get rid of it because it wasn't crop proof, so I gave that away. So to go from a wooden boat and then help put my blood, sweat and tears into this one, I'm really looking forward to it.
Dream boat, mate. We're going to make it happen.
There you go. George, take it away.
Rightio, the big build is about to start for Timmy the Turtle, legend. So what we're doing, guys, for Timmy, with the help from Ullrich and hopefully with the help from a lot of other suppliers, we're about to start a 6.2 metre boat for Timmy. The 6.2 consists of a 5mm bottom, 5mm frame, 6mm stringers, 4mm sides. What we're hoping and planning to do today is mark out the bottom sheets, mark out the side sheets, all the frames, notch out all the frames, and then maybe tomorrow we get to pull this boat up. We're going to start with the bottom sheets straight up, so we'll lay them on the plate and mark it out. We've got to make a few subtle changes to get Timmy out to where he needs to be for this boat to be a 6.2 metre boat. Originally the templates are based on the very first boat that I built many years ago, and it's based around a 5.6 metre boat. So we're about to mark it out and let's get moving. So we've got two 5mm sheets down on the floor. So we're cutting 10mm. Yeah, we just line the sheets up, clamp them together. The reason why we cut the two together, so both your bottom sheets are identical. So there's no misalignment of parts. So we're guaranteed to cut two identical parts. Lay them down there. I know over the years what I really need to add on to the front of it to get the length that we need. I need about 155mm there, and we've got 170, that's plenty, that'll give us a bit of clearance.
So is that 100mm extra?
That's 100mm packer, mate.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's very important that you don't stand on the template as we go to draw it in. Alright, so that's your 100mm packer. It's hard up against the template. Right, we're just tracing that line. Just move it along as we go. Right. It's a 15-degree hole. That's the dead rise in the hole. This hole's proven itself over the years. I'm happy with it, and I'm still happy hand cutting it. Just means that nobody can steal my design. So it's very important from this point on we mark in where the frames are going to go. So we just basically put a mark there, one there. Darren's giving me a hand. And when we go to pull this boat up, all these frame lines, they will all line up. You guys will see that. That's a very important part of the building. So what I do here, Timmy, to continue it on to get the length of your boat, all we're doing is fairing in lines. So we continue on the outside chine line. So we're just going to basically fair that in to what's already been drawn there. Alright, and we do the same thing for the keel. So we just basically line our straight edge up.
How big's this sheet that you're working on?
Working on a 6.1 metre sheet, but your bottom sheet on a 6.2 metre boat is only around about 5.7 metres.
Ullrich Aluminium, 58 years.
He's drawing in all the frame lines, which is the most important part. Righto, so we've got to add in another frame on this bottom sheet. So frame spacing are 600mm. So we're going back to frame 1. We're going to come back 600mm. 600, and we're going to call that frame 0. Then for a 6.2 metre boat, just over the years, I sort of know what the numbers are. So from frame 0 to the bottom of the transom, the end of the bottom sheet at the transom, we need about 900mm. So I always allow 50mm of ground. We're going to go 950. So we're adding on the 950mm. Right, that's going to give us 50mm of green to play with. Right, so 950 on this side. Right, Darren's going to draw that in. That's pretty much the end of Timmy's boat. So, you know, on a 6.1 metre sheet, you still have 3 or 400mm. 0 is the last frame that we put in. So from that frame we have a bulkhead. That's the transom bulkhead. It's a full height bulkhead. So I know over the years my numbers where I need to be with that one. So we need to look at around about 535mm for that bulkhead. So 535. Right, so that's our bulkhead. Now I'm going to draw that one in. To get from the back bulkhead to the transom, we need a distance of around about 650mm. That allows the outboard to trim up in there. So I know over the years what I sort of need to do to get there. The numbers I need are 335 from the centre, and then from the outside chine line, we need 435. So I'll just mark them in quickly. 365, 435 up there, Darren. So on that line there, we're going to draw another 50mm, just to have a bit of play up our sleeves. We can cut that off and trim that off once we pull the boat up. So Darren, from that line, 50mm, 50mm. A 4-inch grinder with a multi-cutter wheel, which has tungsten tips on it. And it's not a tool to play around with. You know, to be quite honest, the thing will take your arm off. I had one bad incident many years ago. I was using an electric grinder. I was doing something stupid. I didn't have a hole saw at the time. I was trying to cut a round hole out. I was squatted down in the corner of a boat. I went to go into the cut. It bit in and threw the grinder back. The grinder actually was going, flew out of my hands, hit me across there, and landed in between my legs, still going. So yeah, you don't play around with these things. That's over all the years I've been doing it. That's the only incident I've had.
So you got board down underneath? That's
Yeah,
the...
it's got board down. The board is, you don't need board, you can pack your sheets up with alley and still cut it, but the board actually, it's just cheap bloody packing board from what it can. But it actually helps lubricate your blade. So your blade's actually hitting the timber, it's hitting something soft as it's cutting the alley. You know, you guys got to remember we're using marine grade plate. It's certified 5083 plate. It's high tensile plate. Now, for me, kneeling down like this is not the most comfortable position to cut that, so I've just chucked on the overalls. I like to sit down and do it, and that's how I've done it over the years. It's more comfortable for me. That off cut is now, there's 2 pieces of 5mm plate there. All our frames and our transom will come out of that off cut. So Timmy, now we've cut off one side of your boat, the bottom sheet of your boat. Right, the next step is we've got to transfer all these lines that we've marked on the top of the first bottom sheet. Just quickly, all we're doing is just marking these lines, these frame lines, so they can be transferred onto the bottom sheet. That's all it is.
First job that I've got to do on this project so far, I just marked in all the lines on the opposite hull.
Very good.
So what's going on here?
So we've taken the offcut now, and the offcut's a 5mm. We're going to turn the 5mm into your frames. So I have frame templates from my original boat, but they need to be severely modified to suit Timmy's 6.2. I'm adding 10, so we're going 73mm. So we want 73 plus 10, so it's going to be 83mm. 83mm. I'm going to set the combo up with that boat.
Yeah, that's right.
Alright, so that's the difference in the height of the frames. Frames are getting raised 83mm, so we just put a line there, a reference point there, and another one there. Each individual frame right through from 0 through to 6, they're all different. So we do each individual one. And on the end there, I've got add 10mm. So we've got to make sure we've got 10mm to add onto this end. So I come through to here, I can actually do that with the rule and get it spot on. That's 10mm. I'm on the line, you're on the line, Darren. All good? Right, we draw the framing. Most important thing on all the frames is that center line. That one center line has to be marked in on every single frame. And I'll just quickly explain all these cutouts here. The stringers sit up against those cutouts and they're welded to the bottom sheets, and these cutouts here get continued up top, and they're the floor girders. The floor girder is 50 by 25 by 3mm box. Sits on its edge and gets welded in at 220mm centers. This hull's bulletproof. Do you want to draw in the center line, Darren? So I just, because we're square off the plate, we know we're square, the frame's square, so we just draw those in. Right. I won't do them all, just show you quickly, and I know exactly what I need depth-wise to hole saw that out. It's 45mm, so I'm up 45mm on combo square. And the combination square, it's 25mm box, it's 25mm wide, so we do the combo square there at 45, and the center is the center of your combo square. Just put a mark there. That's where you hole saw it out. Boom. Basically taken where the frame was and moved it up to here. So that's frame 1 done.
We got to hole saw some holes, bro. Right, some holes in our framework.
So 29mm?
That 29mm is for the top ones.
Yeah.
And this one is like, God knows, it is 25mm for the bottom one. So I give my center punch. That one. Center pop. Alright, so we get the drill. Bit of wax. On the center pop. See how it broke free? If you like break it through and let the drill bit smash it, you'll snap the drill bit off underneath, and then we can't drill no more holes. A bit more wax. A bit more wax. Put it in the hole. you have a hole. And you go to the next hole.
So there it is there, that's what he's cutting out. Bow of the boat, along the top, all the way down to Mills. Good girl, Mills.
So what we're doing now, so that's one frame. So we notch out that. That's to allow the water to run through the centre of the boat. All right, all of these here are our stringers, so we're going to notch all them out. Floor girders, we're going to notch all those out. They all need to be done now before we put the frames together. Stringer goes in here, gets fully welded, and allow the water to run through.
Beautiful. Right, kettle's on. Kevy's taking a break. So from this morning we've got 2 bottom sheets laid out. We've got the 2 side sheets. We've got transom. We've got all of these cut out except for just that little section there. Bit of a technique involved.
So we're about to T-bar the frames, and when I say T-bar, it is like a T. So the 50x6 flat bar goes on top of the frame, gets welded in. Put the frame on top of the T-bar. Okay, we eyeball the centre. T-bar's on, it's roughly centre. Tack it on. Right, just move along. Right, pretty happy with that, where it is there now. It's roughly centred. Right, so we'll just go through and tack it. On to the next one. Tack that one. Again.
So there it is, all tacked on. So you just tack just one side, eh?
Yeah, I just basically we tack the centre.
Yeah.
And then we stand at the end of it and just eyeball it. It's pretty much spot on. Now we have to mark out a weld sequence, and it's opposite. So right here we start at the end of the frame. So there's going to be a stitch weld there. Then it's opposite on the cutout on this side. Same thing. There's a weld there exactly the same length as that one. Then there's another one right here opposite the cutout. And it's vice versa all the way through the length of the frame. And it's welded in a sequence, so you just don't go weld, 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 and hope for the best, because the frame will lay over and it won't be square to the T-bar. So we do a weld there, a weld there, and a weld there. We spin the frame around quickly, and we do opposites to what we just welded. Go back through that sequence until they're all welded, and that's it. Put it on the floor and let it cool. So we're running at about 160 amps there. We're welding 5mm 6mm. Spin the frame around and do the opposite to what I've done. Then we spin the frame around again. And the ones that we've missed, we go back through and we weld them up.
So
If you
right.
have a look at the frame from there, zoom in on that, have a good look at that, it still stays at 90 degrees. So
Beautiful.
it's all about moving around. You have to move around. If you dilly-dally around, the frame will have a big bow in it.
See that you've done opposites there. There it is, boys and girls. First frame done. What do you got? 7 to go.
Quickly pull this bottom up. So we've got the two bottom sheets laid down. What we do is we basically butt them together, go through and tack the bottom sheets as they sit on the floor there to around about frame 2, frame 3. And then we come through and lay the frames in sequence. And the trick with what we do, we just line the centre line up, tack the frame, lay the frame over to one side, make sure it's vertical, tack it in situ where it needs to be tacked. And we'll go through from probably 0 right through to 3. And then we do the exact same thing on the opposite side, but we just pull down on the frames and that'll pull the hull up to the shape. So let's get to it. That'll do us for a start, mate. So what we're basically doing is we're lining that centre line up with that centre line.
Yep.
Darren's normally a little bit better with his eyes than what I am. What do you have to do, mate? Give me the line that side that I can see.
Yep.
Right, just wait a second, I'll turn this up. Alright, so we need to tack it here. Right, now we need to pull this side down. Like that.
Yep.
Don't lay the frame over, just keep the frame standing my way. You're leaning it toward you. Very good. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Let that tack a little bit. Right, there you go.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Yep.
Sure that the frame's sitting down hard to the bottom sheet. Very important. If you have a gap there, the hull can drum, it can make noises, so it's very important throughout pulling the bottom up that the frames sit hard to the bottom sheets. And you'll see when we put the stringers in, it's the same thing. They need to sit hard on the bottom sheets.
So is that why you just jacked it up and put the wood underneath it?
Exactly, like as this boat progresses forward, the V changes.
Yeah.
So the further we go with the frames, we're going to be doing that. Putting a piece of timber there, just putting a bit of pressure.
Yep.
Right, we'll do 3. I'll just put a tack in front of it.
Yep. No. Yep.
Good there.
Yep.
Good there.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
So righto, what we're going to do now, we're going to put a bit of weight on that side and pull that side down.
Yep.
And that's going to create the shape of the boat. And then we'll go through and we'll add the rest of the frames.
You don't tack any of this side, it's all right, just the one side?
Right, just the one side for now.
Righto.
You just got to watch when you stick.
I'm actually happy with that from there.
Yep.
Down my E there.
Yep. Whole way apart from the end. Yep. Yep. go.
So righto, now we've got 0, 1, 2, 3 frames in. Forward of that, we need to actually pull the hull up, and we just do that by hand. And it's a matter of overlapping the sheet to close that gap up. Once we've got the gap closed, just forward of frame 6, we can put frame 4 and frame 5 in.
So you're just tacking it together while he pulls it together?
That's exactly right. One thing that's really good, just hang on a second. That's really good, man, hold there. That down. Yep, on again. Now I'm happy with that leave there. Opposite way. Too much. Come yet. Stay right there, mate. Awesome. Open up. No. Open up, come together. Come up together. Yep, that's it. So what we're going to do now, just going to put a come along around it. There's a lot of tension there, but it'll pull up really nice. So come along, just saving Darren.
Yep.
Alright, so we just chucked the come along on there, it's made it a lot easier. We've closed up the gap so we're ready to tack it into place. Very nice there, so here we go. Right, down a little bit more, mate. We'll go as far as we can, we might move that. Right, that'll do, we'll leave that on there, mate. We've got to close up the gap, so we're just going to muck around. Need a bit of weight on that side and on the other side, just to pull the boat down a bit so we can get the frame down hard and centre.
Righto.
And we'll work left to right.
I'm going to let this guy up here take over the rest of it while I help give him a hand.
Thanks, guys. Clear.
Well, that's a wrap for day 1. George blew my mind how fast he works. He said that I, filming everything, wasted half his day, but we got it done. It's pretty incredible watching it come together.
Tomorrow morning we will put the back bulkhead in, we'll run the stringers through, and then, I don't know, by mid-morning we'll have the sides on it.
Sweet.
By lunchtime, transom, front bulkhead. Late tomorrow afternoon, should be looking sweet. So there's no unusual gaps anywhere, everything's pulled up pretty tight. The boat's sitting beautifully level, it's got a great shape to it already.
Look at that. George loves this stuff. George loves it.
I love it, mate. You're right.
Morning number 2. I must have got a bit of welding flash yesterday because my eyes are killing me, so it's not a good sign. Darren and I got in here a little bit early. What are we doing, Darren?
We're going to run some stringers today, bro.
So run them through, measure and cut.
Cuts, they got to end about here before the transom. So I'm going to cut about 200 mil off pretty much all of them. And they'll sit about 30 mil, 25 mil, 30 mil on the inside of here.
Yep.
And then we'll make some more later on for there.
Righto. So first job for the morning.
Rightio, so we're at the stage where we just, we've got to put a back bulkhead in, and that bulkhead is basically pulled out a piece of ply, because every component from here on in is made to suit this boat. So we've done some measurements on the hull. Yep, run the tape over it, pulled out a sheet of ply. We've basically drawn in the back bulkhead on this sheet of ply. With the right angles and everything, just by measurement. So hopefully we're quickly going to cut it out and do a quick check on it. And then if all's good, it goes onto the alley and we transfer everything onto the alley and cut it.
Yeah, sweet. What did you say the curve line's for? Keep tension in the sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, so the side of the boat is a straight line there, and you can see that black line, it's actually a curve. That curve's put in there for a reason, just to put tension in the sheet, and that tension normally holds the sheet nice and straight when you weld it all out.
So George has just finished up
Bada bing, bada boom.
the rear bulkhead. Rear bulkhead.
Just change the shear.
How's that?
Next step, yeah, we'll put a stiffener on it. So there'll be a stiffener that'll go on there, that'll keep that big bulkhead nice and straight.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we'll get it in situ and tack it in place.
Well, I'm probably going to have to give George and Darren a hand here, so I'm going to switch over to the big camera
Yeah,
and
we'll
you
get
guys.
the bulkhead in and then you can come back to it, eh?
Yeah. Back bulkhead in. Well, just tacked in. How are we going for level?
Yeah, bubbles pretty well perfect, mate.
Sick.
So we've got to keep checking the level on it. And then once we get the sides on, we'll level it all again and it'll get pinned to the floor.
So just tack that in.
No gaps, down hard to the bottom sheets. Now we're doing a side sheet.
Big camera's down while I give him a hand.
About 0.
Yeah? Bit more?
No, that's good enough to get it to start. Just wait. So we're going to line that line up with that line right there. So we need to line forward. Woo, too far back a tad. Forward a little bit. Back a little bit. There. Yeah. Yeah, hold there. Kenny, don't look this way. Back good. I'm happy with that. Don't move. Come back here a little bit. That's pretty good, huh? Leave it.
Yeah.
Wait. Chip, we got to, yeah, that's all right. We'll go here. That's fucking really good. Don't let it take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pull out and it'll chip, it'll drop.
Keep going to me.
Alright, just hold it up a little bit. That's there. Perfect. Perfect. Back here, Dennis. Yeah. Go like this, so the top's got to come out and the bottom's got to go in.
Yeah, you gotta pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull the top out.
Pull the top out, there you are. And lift up a little bit if you can. Nearly there. Down your way. That's it, don't move. Fell on. Alright.
Here it is. First side on the boat. So this is why George said it was pretty important to mark your frame lines as we pulled it around. Well, that one's a bit out there, George. The rest of them are good. I probably drew that line. I'll take that wrap. So we got all the frame lines, all matching the other frame lines on the bottom of the boat. Tucked in. One sheet done. Look at the size of it. Look at that on the back. She's looking good. Coming together.
It is, mate. Let's have a quick break and nail the other side sheet on. Right, so quickly what we've got to do is we've allowed green on the sheet, so you can see there's about 40 mil of green there. So we're just going to mark that, square that line off and quickly cut it. And then when the other side sheet comes on, it will overlap that. And then we'll go through that process where we quickly square it up to the centre line of the boat and then we trim that off as well. Just an easier way of...
How do you square that up to the top?
That's a parallel line.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I know that that line there has to be parallel to the keel.
So it's just same distance from top to bottom.
Same distance all the way through, and you'll see how it all comes together. Rightio, Timmy, the side sheets are on now. We've pulled the bow in. What we're going to do now is we're going to put a bit of flare in the bow. So the way we do that is we attach a couple of pieces of angle on in situ there with the turnbuckle, and we wind that out, putting pressure on the hole there. Give it a couple of taps with the Superman red mallet, and when I'm happy with the shape, that's it. We weld that up and hold that shape. So all we're doing, Timmy, is winding the turnbuckles out. The turnbuckles are actually pushing the side sheets out right here at the bow. And it actually moves really, really easily because you've got 3 lots of turnbuckles. So you work in between those turnbuckles, and each time you put a bit of pressure on that one, it relieves the pressure off the next one. And I only do this by eye, so I just eyeball it down here, and you can actually see it pushes the sheet out. And it looks really nice as it is. Put a bit of weight on the bottom. Yeah, up to the next one, it's opposite. Yeah, other one's opposite, back to you. Bottom again. Now, what we've got to do, Jimmy, is it looks really good there. So I'm just going to give it a couple of hits with the red mallet. And that just relieves a bit of the tension. And then we'll tweak the turnbuckles one more time, and it's ready to weld. So looking down now, that looks nice. We probably should have taken a shot of it before we done it because the plate was actually curved like that.
Yep.
It looks really good now, so I'm going to give it a couple of bumps. And you'll see once we hit it, those turnbuckles are tight at the moment. I'll give it a couple of bumps. Darren will come back in and you'll see that they're loose. The magic red hammer. All right, a bit more on that bottom one, mate. You've got to make sure you try and hit with the flat part of your hammer. Top one again a little bit, mate. That'll do. I'm happy with that. I'll weld that.
Righto. So you weld it with the turnbuckles in?
Weld it with the turnbuckles in, mate, and let it cool.
They say.
Alright, so what we're doing here, we're just going to make the front bulkhead. Front frame, I mean, number 6. Number 6 doesn't go in. We actually make it suit the shape of the boat. So I've got a rough idea of the shape of it, so we've drawn in a rough shape. We'll quickly cut this out, jump in the boat, we'll put it in place, and we'll fare it in where it needs to be fared in. Put some marks on it, cut it, bring it out, T-bar it, get it back in, get it welded in.
Why do you do it last?
Do it last, mate, just for the simple fact that frame 6 is the last forward front frame. I don't want no stress on that frame. I want that frame to fit that shape of that hole perfectly, and we can weld it in because it takes, you know, that's the front of your boat, it takes all the pounding. We're running all 5mm frames, so a lot of other guys run 4mm frames, 4mm girders. You know, we run 5mm frames. So the frames are in there for the lifetime of your boat, mate. You're gonna laugh. Oh shit, go. Good there on all sides?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Come down a little bit, yeah. Alright, just draw a line underneath there for the frame. Get it on the flat bar, bud. Rightio, so we just put frame 6 in and we've welded it in. So we've welded the side sheets, the bottom sheets straight down the centre. Nice hot weld. I've just basically stitch weld the inside of that on frame 6 and I fully weld the opposite side. And we just about put the collision plate that goes in there. It's a 5mm plate. Bang, gets fully welded in. Here we're going to try and get this transom put in. So as you can see from yesterday, when we marked it out, we marked out that 50mm green. So the first line's going to give you your boat the length 6.2. The second line, you're going to be a tad over it. So we're happy to go a tad over it, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got the transom now. I've just cut it out. It's basically mapped out to suit the engine. So I'm going to trim off that green. Transom plate will go in. We'll trace that in. We'll pull up on the table and cut it. Chuck the stiffener on it, and then bang, we'll jam it in. So in about an hour's time, we'll have pretty much the boat, all the boat pulled up, transom in it.
So this is the transom. We just pretty much put it in, draw a line around it. George has put a stiffener on the other side. Stop it warping when he welds it on. He's just going to cut it out and we're going to stick it.
Cut it out and get it in.
Tack it on the back. Timmy Turtle.
Moving through it, mate. We're moving through 670, we're awesome. So you'll be going to trim into that nicely without hitting.
Don't tell him what's going on there yet. Don't tell him. How good is that? So transom's just tucked in. Got a pretty severe cut on my thumb. I don't know if you can see that, but don't grab the little wispy bits on the end of the aluminium because it's like a paper cut but worse.
Righto, transom's in. So here we go. We're going to batten in this beautiful shape that Timmy wants on this magnificent machine.
This is it, the most exciting part of the build. What do you reckon?
Yep, we get it to batten in Timmy's shape.
So what's this? A little bit of
Just a bit of 10mm round bar.
10mm round bar.
Yeah, it's the only way to put a shear line on a boat, the way I build a boat. And we can give the customer whatever shear line they want. If they want a aggressive shear line, we can do that. They want a nice flowing subtle shear line. If they don't want a shear line, they want it straight, we can still do that. But Timmy's going to get what Timmy wants, so we're about to do that. Let us batten it in and we'll come back to you. What do you reckon, Timmy?
Sweet, let's adjust it. An hour and 13 minutes is how long it took me to come up with my design.
And the rest?
No, I pressed this when we started and it says an hour 13. An hour 13, so the boys are just heckling me. They reckon it's taking me all day, but an hour 13, the camera doesn't lie. Way more stressful. Like, I don't know if you guys can put yourself in my position, but like you think it's gonna be, oh, we just draw a line in, but it's not like that at all. So what we've gone with, it's sort of like a little bit of a sleek look. The best thing about George's workshop is everything's custom. So you decide everything, which is sometimes going to the store is maybe better. It saves you a lot more time than what I just did. But we got like sort of straight all the way back to just past halfway. And then it drops off a little bit, gives you the sleek look, keeps it sort of high in the front. Instead of just going straight flat all the way through from here, gives it a little bit more height in the front to stop some waves going back. Because it is a rear center console, is a chance that we're going to cop more chop. I think it looks good. Can't wait to have it all chopped off and see what she looks like. But cool. How you going, Bill? You working hard? All right. Georgie!
Here we go.
This is it.
Just waiting for a bit of light.
One clean cut. So I've just got the piece that he's cut off that side, transferred it to this side with a whole heap of clamps. And then we're going to trace around it and move it, and then he's going to do the same. So it's exactly the same on this side as it is on that side. So she's going to look dead even. Hopefully, that's the plan.
Righto, Timmy wanted a 6.2 metre boat. So from bow,
It's a vertical transom.
we are 6.2 metres and 30 mil. You know what, Timmy?
There you go. That's huge.
That 30 mil is free.
That's free. Thanks, mate. How good's that?
We trimmed down the other side. We've given her a vacuum out, mate, because she was just full of swarf. She looks nice and clean inside.
She looked
Wow,
great.
man, how big is it inside, eh?
Man, there's so much room. So wide too.
Can't wait to start fabricating that casting deck, mate. Jesus, it's going to be a dance floor, buddy. So, all right, so what we're going to try and achieve tonight, we're going to dog down all the stringers at every frame. So that means we're going to pull it hard against the frame and then hard against the bottom sheet and get some tacks on it. And then hopefully, later tonight, we'll get most of the framing done in this pod. And there's a lot of work right here.
What did we have? Bacon and egg roll at 9 o'clock?
From Andy's Roadhouse up the road, you know, to look at him, you wouldn't want to buy food. I think God's Andy. God love him, Andy, the crane driver. Big shout out to Andy because the best bacon and egg onion burger.
In Ingham.
No, North Queensland, mate.
In North Queensland.
Big call in North Queensland.
So we've got the best boat builder and the best burger in North Queensland. Do you think it's a coincidence that you're both 300 metres apart?
No, I think we're meant to be 300 metres apart. I really, really do.
Pretty amazing to watch. I couldn't really do much. I helped out with a few things, but George has just smashed in the engine pod.
The engine mounts.
Engine mounts. So
all the framing for the pod.
this is his own design and pretty incredible to watch because every single one is made to fit the boat. So everything is measured and then cut,
100%.
ready to go. I just filmed it all on the time lapse and she's still going, but just about to turn it off. But yeah, everything is made to suit this boat. So he just measures it, cuts it, tacks it in. So he said it's about a full hour and a half to fully weld all this. And I'd love to give it a go, but he doesn't trust me at all. And that's fine because we all saw how the skiff turned out.
No, Timmy will be doing some welding, just the structural stuff. I'll stick with that. It's got to be glued in hot and hard. So,
Righto. 2 days of work and we've pretty much got the boat outline done.
all hand cut too, Timmy.
Yeah, all hand cut, hand measured. Amazing to watch a master at work. Pretty incredible. Righto. Day number 3, I just got down here. The boys have been working all day, but all of the rest of this week we're actually going to be working on my boat after hours and then on Saturday just to get some more stuff out of the way. So big thanks to the boys for running late nights for us. Don't think Darren's too happy, but George is stoked. To get into what we're doing today, we're starting off with some major welding, and to begin with, instead of just jumping straight into it, George is actually going to give me a rundown on how to weld. So he did this a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to get back into it, and we're also George is going to talk you guys through it. So anyone interested in doing this can jump straight in and learn from the best. 30 years of the welding experience. George is going to teach me, and in turn, going to teach you guys. And he's also going to talk about the welding wire he's using, because Ullrich Aluminium has also supplied a couple of boxes for us to do this free of charge as well. So he's going to talk us through why he's using the wire and what he uses it for.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to do a quick setup on some 4mm plate. We're going to do a run on two machines. So we've got the Total Arc 271 over here. That machine's like in its day was worth 15 grand. It's like a Ferronius machine. And over here we've got the new CA Convex, and it's like a $5,000 machine. They're both pulse machines, both dual pulse, but I don't run it in dual pulse. I've learned over the years to hone my technique in like twin pulse, and it has its advantages. I can talk a little bit more about that later on through Timmy's build. But what we're about to do, we'll set up some plates, we'll do some runs, and then I'll run through some wire after that. So we'll get going, we'll tack some plates together and do a couple of fillet welds for you. All right, so the basic technique that I've learned over the years is to backstep, and the backstep in aluminium, so you're basically going forward on the weld pool and back into the weld pool. So twin pulse is the same sort of thing. It's sequenced at every interval. So I'm doing the same thing, but I'm actually doing it with my hand. All right, so I'll do a quick run for you so you can have a quick look. Here we go. All right, there you go. I'll just turn it down so Timmy can get a good look at it.
That's pretty.
So the welds you know, pretty consistent, and with aluminium welding you have to be consistent. So, and consistency comes from practice, just practice, eh? Alright, so that's the Tacking 271. We're back on the single phase CEA, which is like a $5,000 machine, 240 volt. Your backyard guys can buy this machine and do this sort of welding in your garage, eh? So what we do, I'm not going to strike the arc, so we're actually going forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. So we're going in front of the weld pool, back on the weld pool, in front of the weld pool, back on the weld pool. And that gives us that twin pulse look. My technique has huge advantages over the twin pulse. Right, the $5,000 machine, let's go, give it a run. Right, there you have it, the $5,000 machine. Single phase, pulse MIG.
Exactly the same.
Right, we'll compare the two together.
Put them together.
Got them side by side.
$5,000 machine. And then this was $15,000 machine. I can't
Pretty
tell
much
the difference.
identical, mate. And that comes down to, and this is a very, very important point, all right, the wire I'm using. All my aluminium is supplied through Ullrich Aluminium, and they have their own wire. And the reason why their wire is so unique is the fact that it is ABS approved, which is American Bureau of Shipping, which is the highest standard of certification. Almost the same sort of similarities as Safra wire. 4.5% magnesium, which gives the wire excellent corrosion resistance against salt water. And we're building boats, so this is the wire that we want. The high strength of this wire is another bonus because we run 5083 plate, which is high tensile plate. And this is the wire you need. And look, I can vouch for it. I've been using this wire now for about 5 years. Prior to that, I was using Safra. I've got nothing against Safra, but I can honestly say this wire is as good, if not better, than the Safra wire. And for you guys out there that are new to the game, want to do a bit of aluminium welding, look up Ullrich Aluminium. They're right across Australia. Just look them up, or if you're in the local area where we are, call the Townsville office up, ask for Aaron, and Aaron will hook you up. The wire is the bomb. The proof's in the pudding.
Which one do you go for in the dimensions?
Okay, so I run 1.2 mil, and I run 5183. That's the tensile strength that matches my 5083 plate. But they also do a variety of grades. The next most popular one would be 5356, and that does all your extrusions. So if you're someone out there that's doing a lot of welding on, you know, quad bike frame, canopies, you know, the 5356 would be the wire for you. But if you're into the high tensile stuff like we are, the 5183. Can't go past it. The technique, Timmy, is get your angle right. So the angle in on your plate is not 45 degrees, a little bit below it. Right, so, and then you're forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. That's about good. Get comfortable on the bench. Away you go, mate. Grab the camera and have a look at that one, mate.
That one's not too bad.
Outstanding.
Smack, bro,
Very,
smack.
very good. And it's real simple, Timmy, like you can go back to the settings, right, and you can just dial in plate thickness. So we just dial it in, so if you wanna weld 4mm plate like we were welding, just dial it in on 4mm plate. Bang, bang, you go back to factory here and it'll set up the wire for you, or you can punch it in and dial your wire in or out. It's real easy. Don't go past it, guys. If you're looking for a good machine for the backyard guy, Timmy might even put a link in for that machine. It is the bomb.
We just had a go, and now what are we getting into this afternoon?
Right, tonight, Darren's going to jump in and dog down all the stringers. We can go through that process, or Darren can go through that process with you. But tonight, I've got to make an anchor plate, anchor weld plate, and the front bulkhead. So we'll go through the process of doing that, which is, you know, form a shape. Shape fits the boat, basically, and yeah, glue it in place.
So what are we doing, Darren?
We're gonna dog some stringers down, bro.
Why do you call it dogging down?
It's just the same, I assume.
Just the term we use, eh, bro?
Hey.
Because it's the dog of the job.
So what's the go? So we're going to start with this one? Take it away, mate. I'll let you do
Where
it.
you gotta go? So yeah, we'll start on the outside one. So that stringer has to be to the floor and hard against the frame on this side. If you come over here, Timmy, you see that there's a little pedibicule gap.
For the water?
Yeah, so it's got to go, we use a wild ass chisel. So we jam that in there, a bit loud. So it's gone hard back to the frame.
Yep.
And we go down, and it's hard to the floor. I'll get my little glue gun. And we'll just do some tacks for now. We'll go right through, tack them all down, and then I'll glue them all down properly.
Yeah, right. So just a couple of tacks?
Couple of tacks just to hold them down for the time being.
Yeah.
And then once we've gone right through the whole boat, we'll come back to the start here, and I'll just do runs down, all the way down, and so on, right the way through the boat.
So what's the plan? Do you do one there, then the other side, and then...
We'll just work way right through. So we'll start here, go to this side, then come back to here, and slowly build the heat all the way through the boat.
After you've all tacked it down?
Tacked it and welded it all down. This is the dog. The frame, the stringers, as you can see, aren't sitting hard against the floor. So we have invented this. Whack that on the floor, couple of hot tacks, get your chisel, you drive your chisel back in there like that, and it pushes it hard to the floor, and we just do a little stitch all on the outside to keep it hard to the floor for extra strength.
And that's after you've already done... So and that's why it's called dogging down?
Yeah, yep. And it's a...
Dog of a job.
Yeah, yep.
Righto, so two reasons why it's called dogging. How long do you reckon this takes you?
Oh, this will be an hour.
About an hour?
Yeah.
Righto, I'll set the time lapse up and you're going to get into it.
Yeah, yep.
Alright, so what Timmy and I are going to do, we're going to form the anchor plate, which is the bottom plate that the anchor wheel is in, or the anchor rope and the anchor sits in, and then we're going to form the shape for the front bulkhead. We're just basically forming a shape. We've got a $2 piece of ply, not even that, it's free from my tent. So we've got a piece of ply, we'll sit on top of the boat, we'll draw a rough shape around, and it's basically just fairing that shape in as it goes down lower in the front of the bow of the boat. Just keep fairing it till I'm happy with the depth of it, and then we cut that out. And if we're happy with the shape and everything's looking good, transfer it straight onto that sheet of alley down there, cut it out, check how it fits. We've got to make a couple of final adjustments, you know, nick here and nick there to get it fitting perfectly. We do that and then glue it in place. So we're about to get into it, Timmy and I.
So this is, George just told me the other day, this is packing, what is it, packing ply?
Packing sheets, mate, yeah.
Packing sheets from China. So Mitre 10 get these in their thousands and they can't get rid of them quick enough. So George actually gets them by the ton for free. So he uses it, he puts them in all these boats to make sure that he's not wasting expensive aluminium. He puts them in all these boats. He makes the shape, forming a shape, he calls it, FOS. Forming a shape. He makes all of his shapes out of the packing sheet, changes all them. When he's got them all perfect, then they're finally transferred onto the aluminium.
And I might add too, like, no, this anchor well's not really going to suit another boat that we build in here. We pretty much make every component as we move through the boat.
And why do you do that?
Well, look, every boat that we pull up, mate, doesn't pull up exactly the same. They all form their own shape. The bottom shape and everything with the frames and stringers is pretty much the same. But when the sides go on, they naturally form their own shape. And I don't like to mess with that, you know. If it's looking nice and it's got a nice flow, I don't mess with it. I form every shape to what's already there. And that relieves a lot of stress throughout the boat. We're not pulling in gaps. You know, every part's made within tight tolerances. You know, you can buy a CNC cut boat and you can be a come along with like 800 kilos of pressure closing up a gap that big. We don't do it on my hand cut boat. Every part's made to suit it. And that's why they last.
So you heard it from the boat builder himself. Also, George just told me while the camera was off why they do the hammering so hard on these things. The tighter you get the hammering and that stringer sitting close to the deck means that your hull is not making any noises. So the reason they bang them so hard to get them down flat, flush on the ground is if you don't do this, there's a lot of banging and rattling and vibrating in the hull. Whereas if you do this, she's as quiet as a mouse. Once you pack the foam in and around it, she's going to be so quiet. She's going to be riding like a glass boat.
100%, mate.
There you go. Hammer it as hard as you can, Darren. And me and George are going to get into this.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we're going to get into it.
Righto.
Starts out big. It's never going to be this big, so we will just trim this sheet of ply. It's free, and we'll just get it to where we need it to be, and then we'll cut the aluminium. Right, so we've got our shape, mate. So we need to cut this shorter, and I just know from experience, I'm going to take about 3 inches off it to begin with, and that'll get us down inside, because at the moment, one is pretty much. Alright, so we've cut it to the outside of the shape, so by bringing it down inside the boat, you can see that it's pretty close to me in the shape that we're looking for, but we need to go a lot deeper, so we'll just trim a bit off it, and we'll get it down deeper, and then where the front bulkhead's going to go, we'll put a mark both sides, and we'll cut that off square. Now, the easiest way to make this smaller, so I'm just going to go on my combination square. Right. I'm just going to take 70mm off it. Oh, be safe. We'll go 50mm. I don't mind cutting it a couple of times. So we've got the combo. 50. Righto, so with the combination square, it's real easy to follow that line. So you hold your combo there, right? You put your pen against your combination square, and you're just dragging it along. And the whole time you're leaving pressure, you're putting pressure on that side. All right, so that's drawing that in. You know, most tradies out there know this technique anyway. But for the average guy at home that sort of doesn't, you know, it's a real easy technique to practice and use around the workshop. There you have it. Same on the other side. So Timmy's going to help you hold that over there. Alright. So about equal distance there. So that's our height there at the moment. Alright, so I'm just going to show you what 2 inches does. We're actually taking off 100mm. So it's 50mm that side, 50mm that side. Hopefully we should end up down about here somewhere.
Is that the height we're looking for?
That's the height, sort of height we're looking for. Down there.
Yeah, sweet.
So let's
Have you got a specific distance down you're looking for, or just eyeball?
Look, you want a shallow ankle ball, mate, or a deep ankle ball. If you want a shallow ankle ball, it just opens up a little bit more room on the bulkhead for you to add a little bit more storage in there. But a lot of guys like deep ankle welds, you know, if they want to run a winch, just cut the point off because of the weld there. Yep. So just flatten it off between the weld. Definitely be under that. Right. And that's looking really, really good. So we've gone 100mm, 50mm either side, and we've actually dropped it around about 100. You can see the line there?
Yeah.
Right, so, and the shape's really, really nice. So we don't need all this excess plate. So we're going to put some marks on here where the bulkhead's going to go, and it's going to get cut off around about here. We'll take probably, I don't know, 200mm off the end of that.
Righto, so there's the template, what we finished up with. We've trimmed it down for the ankle weld, and we've transferred it onto the aluminium sheet. Don't worry, George knows there's a little cut in there, he's going to weld it up. So we're just saving
a bit of plate, mate.
Just saving a bit of plate.
We had off cut down the back, so we're just going to use it.
I'm going to give it a go cutting it out. We've got the light on the line for me to see, and we just clamped it down on the table.
Yeah. All right, Timmy, go for it. Very good, mate. Here you go, buddy. Timmy's cut that out. You know, it's his first couple of times on the cutter. He's only going to get better. But I was on the camera, and you'll notice I zoomed right in on Timmy on the cutter, and it's very, very important. Safety is safety. And I said this in the beginning. Whenever you're cutting, always have your thumb finger on the on-off switch. So if anything goes wrong, your finger is there, and you're able to switch. You're able to switch that off. So guys, these things aren't toys, eh? They're not to be played with. They're serious tools. and that blade, it'll do some damage, mate.
thing.
You did the right thing, mate. I zoomed in, you listened to what I said, and your finger was on the on-off switch, man. And that every time you cut, you do that.
Right.
Proud of you, mate. Good job.
So we just tacked in our anchor well. We put a stiffener on there as well, so there's no warping or anything. We leveled it so she's level this way, that way, horizontal or vertical, and then now we got a little bit of what do you call it?
We've got some gaps there, mate. So I said in the beginning when we started to do the anchor well, we've got to fine tune it. So we haven't wasted a couple of $100 worth of plate. We've gone off the template, we've cut it roughly to the size that we think is going to be pretty good. Now all we need to do is fair it in, and it's a simple little tool. Looking at those gaps there, they're about somewhere about 6 mil. We have a 6 mil packer. 6 mil packer, and the thickness of your pen should get it. And this will get us spot on. So that you hold the packer hard against the sheet, all right, and we just draw the line in. All right, all the way through. Come back over here, draw it in, there, sneak it underneath that. All right, same on the other side. Now, the anchor well's going to drop down probably 10 mil, but we don't care, 10 mil's 10 mil. We're pretty shallow at the moment, so I think it'd be great. All right, so I'll draw that in there. Oh, shit there. There we go. You guys can see how much we're actually going to be trimming off it. It's bugger all. All right, it's probably 10 mil at the most there. Here it's next to nothing. Right up in the front there. Again, just let you pack around. There's a little bit of shit on the side. Right, so we'll run it back this way. Holding your pen hard against your packer. Just draw that line in. So we've got some fall on the anchor well. If you look at my level, look where the bubble is. The bubble's that. So if I lift it up to level, right, I don't know, we've got about 20 mil of fall on that anchor well. So all the water in that is just going to drain to the corners.
So you want that much, about that much fall?
More the better, mate, eh?
Yeah,
just
right.
Gets rid of all that shit out of there. Perfect, absolutely perfect. All right, we'll bust a couple of tacks, pull him out, trim that, and fit him in.
Oh, don't just tell people what you got.
What do you mean?
Just show. We just tacked it in, and she's fitting absolutely perfect, all leveled out. We did that little 6 mil packet.
Yeah, no more gaps. It's coming nice and tight.
Beautiful.
Timmy shot a couple of measurements over there, and we were, how far out were we, Timmy?
Half a mil.
We're just going to tack it in place. All right. A couple more down this side.
That's it. So you're going to fully weld it in or not tonight?
Not yet.
Just
No,
tack
no,
it?
no. We won't fully weld that in. So what we're going to do, we're going to form the shape for that bulkhead.
Yeah.
And get that bulkhead fitting nicely. And then I've got a little bit of welding to do up underneath there that I can't get to if I put the bulkhead in.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Clean it up. Should be able to tack the bulkhead in. And once the bulkhead's tacked to the back of the anchor well, and we go from prep it all up, she's all ready to weld out, mate. Our spreader, our secret weapon,
Can come out?
can come out.
Now?
Can come out now.
Them being in for so long, would have that just held in place even without that bulkhead or no? It would have just gone back to normal shape?
It would have sucked back in, mate, eh?
Yeah, right.
But it hasn't. It can't now because the anchor plate's holding.
Yeah.
Beautiful. No gaps, no tension, beautiful fit, and that's how it should be.
What do you got?
Righto, the anchor plate's in, so we've just formed the shape, and we've done it a different way, but it's still forming the shape. We've done it with aluminium, just offcuts. So we started out with a profile that went from the chine line to the top of the boat, and it had a gap there, so I actually put it in place, put a couple of tacks on it. Same method we used on the anchor well. I grabbed a packer with a pen and drew it in, and then I ended up with that piece exactly where I wanted it. It follows the shape of it. We've done it both sides. Same down here from the chine to the floor, little piece. This side same, and then the piece across the floor. Everything fits in beautifully. Up top we've got, from the top of the boat to the top of the boat, port and starboard side, we have a piece of flat bar, and that's, we know that that's a straight line across there. We're going to put a slight curve in Timmy's anchor well, not much, so we know that that's the bottom. So we'll pick the centre, probably come up 25 mil, put a beautiful curve in it, and we'll cut that. But that's how you form a shape out of alley. It's ready to go from the boat to the plate. We cut it out and fit it in.
How good's that?
How good's that?
Just transferred that crazy looking sketch plate over there. The, what do you call it, former shape with aluminium. That's loud and it's late. Neighbours don't care. And we've transferred it onto this rather large piece of aluminium. What do we got?
4 mil thick, mate.
4 mil. So we just got a piece of flat bar to get the top curve. We're going to put a little bit of curve in it so any water runs off. And we put it there and at the other end. And
25 mil.
25. So George pulled it up 25 and Darren chased the line. So we got a perfect curve at the top there. She's going to be beautiful sitting on the boat. So
Yeah, and Timmy, you got to tell me, what is this drawing, mate? Because I didn't draw that, Timmy.
that's actually a rough sketch of my boat.
You know
So
what? You know what?
We just
That actually is the exact shape.
that is the exact shape. So that's the shape I wanted. And I said, George, let's build this shape. And then boom, that's the shape
you
we
drew
got.
that shape in and you got it perfect.
Wow.
mate.
Turned out perfectly, didn't it? So that's actually the boat right there. So that was a quick sketch I did.
So we're
Artiste.
at around about, what time are we now?
Oh, no, 8:30.
No,
Nah,
past 8:30, probably 9 o'clock, bit after 9 o'clock, and the bulkhead probably should have been in there friggin' hour ago, but it's all good.
But we're all fit. We're doing the filming.
We're doing the filming, it's okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to quickly cut that out, put a stiffener on it, and we're just going to do a quick pre-check. And if it all fits up, we'll tack it in place, mate, and that'll do us for tonight.
So Darren's just welded from here all the way up, down there, up there, all that hole's filled in there. So this is a waterproof bulkhead. So everything's been welded in. Did you get the screwy thing out?
I'll do it 3.5 seconds.
Right on.
I won't forget this time.
So that's all welded up for our bulkhead to fit in, and then everything after the bulkhead doesn't need to be done just quite yet. So Darren's done a wonderful job on that. We got one more turnbuckle up under there that has to come out, and then we're good to go. Bulkhead's in, stiffener's on.
Bulkhead's in, really nice fit up on the bulkhead, and it's a bulkhead that gets fully welded, so we want it to fit nice.
And that's why the stiffener's on there as well, because it's getting fully welded.
Yeah, only just for tacking in. I'll knock it off because we tack the inside anchor well, and we know that anchor well is dead straight line.
Oh,
And
okay.
that'll act as a stiffener.
Yeah, righto.
All right, let's get him glued in. Again. It's all good there. Watch your eyeballs. Watch your eyeballs. Again. 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 And again. And again. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we just run a few tacks down the inside of it here. Watch your eyes.
She's in, George. Beautiful, look at that.